He didn't seem overly bothered. "What has to be done won't take long," he said, "and we can start any time you wish." "Let's go inside," I suggested, "and you can tell me all about it." Seated at the kitchen table with coffees, Tom outlined his plan of action. A colleague who had extensive experience in situations like ours had given Tom a spoken ritual that could hopefully be used to enable our trapped souls to move on. It was short and needed no great in-depth knowledge to conduct, just a belief that it would work. I was willing to try anything at this point, and it would be our only chance. Time had more or less run out to put an end to this injustice. That afternoon, Tom and I stood at the forest edge next to the branch marker. The sky had darkened, and the wind was rising. Fitting to the occasion, I mused. We began walking in what I hoped was roughly the right direction, our footsteps crunching on the frozen ground, while the trees roared over our heads. After we had gone a few hundred yards, I rang my phone. We stood and listened intently. Nothing could be heard. "Let's carry on," Tom suggested. "We're bound to hear it sooner or later." Dialing the number again, we ventured further into the darkening with our senses alert for any sound. Peering at my phone screen as we walked, I suddenly felt his hand grip my arm. "Listen," he said, and through the trees came the unmistakable shrill of a ringtone. I was jubilant. It had worked. Moving quickly, we soon came out into the small clearing where my phone rang loudly, still suspended in the bushes. We inspected the ground closely. Nothing remarkable was visible, and the earth was as hard as steel. "We have to try the ritual," said Tom. "Digging is out of question." After composing himself, he began reading from his notebook the short banishment ritual, which was in Latin and of considerable age. I stood quietly by his side, silently praying that this ancient text would be effective. Reaching the end, he closed his book, and we waited. A cold shiver ran through the forest as we stood beneath the howling canopy. Something seemed to be building up, on an elemental level at least. After a few minutes had passed, Tom spoke. "Let's go back, Jim. We've done all we can." On our return to Hall, the wind gradually eased, and by the time we had reached the house, the sun was shining brilliantly in a clear blue sky. Early on the next day, we made an extensive tour of the estate. Tom had to leave before the De Silva's return. I wouldn't be able to explain his presence at the Hall without raising suspicion in their minds. The forecast was looking ominous again. Snow and blustery winds were apparently heading our way. Winter had not finished with us, yet it seemed. We walked along the entire forest boundary to where it finally ended at the Hall gates. Nothing was seen or heard. Only the temperature dropping was of note. "Has it worked?" I asked Tom point blank as we stood smoking on the high road. "We'll never know, will we?"